A very good evening, Zimbabwe. You are listening to Studio 7 from the Voice of America in Washington on Friday, February 4th, 2022. This is Live Talk. I am Gibbs Dube.
And I'm Marvellous Mhlanga Nyahuye, broadcasting from my home in Washington, D.C. due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Tonight on Live Talk, we are talking about the forthcoming council and parliamentary elections.
But first, let's take a look at COVID-19. The Ministry of Health reports that 5 people died of COVID-19 in Zimbabwe yesterday, and 158 tested positive for COVID-19. Nearly 5,400 people have succumbed to COVID-19 since the pandemic started worldwide.
The ministry also reports that over 4.3 million Zimbabweans have so far received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, and at least 3.3 million their second dose.
Tonight, we are also focusing on the forthcoming council and parliamentary by-elections in Zimbabwe, set for March 26th this year, which is next month.
Most council and parliamentary seats fell vacant when Douglas Monzora's MTCT recalled those who were linked to the MTC alliance, then led by Nelson Chamisa.
And in sports, it's Senegal versus Egypt in the Africa Cup of Nations finals in Cameroon this weekend. So we'll be asking you, our followers and listeners, to also predict who you think will take the cup this year.
Yeah, kunjalo ke Marvellous. Qaliseke namhlanje uhlelo lwethu nge-COVID-19. Uhlangothi lwezempilakahle lubika ukuthi kulabantu abahlanu 5 ababulewe umkhuhlane we-COVID-19 izolo. Kwathi-ke abayi-158 bahlolwe batholakala belegciwane leli. Nxa kukhangelwa-ke abantu baphephe izolo bafika 358. Kuzokuthi-ke nxa behlolisisa konke sokwenzakala selokho kwaqhamuka umkhuhlane lo, sokulabantu 5,357 asebabulawa yi-COVID-19. Lokho kuphakathi kwenani labantu abayi-230,000 asebabanjwa bele-COVID-19, waphepha-ke abedlula 220,000. Uhlangothi lolu lubika njalo ukuthi kulabantu abadlula abafika phose 4.3 million asebahlatshwa ijekiseni yakuqala yokuzivikela ku-COVID-19, bese kusithi-ke abafika 3.3 million sebahlatshwa ijekiseni yesibili. So abantu abale-COVID-19 khona manje kwele Zimbabwe bayi-4,458. Yes, jike singene kokunye njalo esikukhangela namhlanje, sikhangela ukhetho lwama-by-elections azayenziwa. Siyakwazi ukuthi kumele enziwe ngoMbimbito lo nyaka. So kukhanya-ke kuningi esingakhuluma ngakho, sikhuluma labanye abantu abazancintisa ukhetho lolu, nabanye-ke abajiyeneyo Marvellous. So kuningi okumele sikuhlafune lapha. So-ke nxa sokubuya-ke okunye inguqu, yakhumbula ukuthi kule Africa Cup of Nations eyenzakala khona ngale kule Cameroon. So-ke sibonile izolo i-Egypt ishaya iCameroon sibili 3-1 kuma-penalties. So kutsho ukuthi-ke i-Egypt izangena-ke ku-final le-Senegal. Siyazi iSenegal phela ilabo sade umane lwana umfana unzima. So sizabona ukuthi kuyahamba njani. So-ke kunjalo-ke nxa siya phambili Marvellous, asiqhubeke.
Aiwa, tinokuchingamidza ine mufaro pano pachirongwa chedu cheLivetalk nhasi nemusi wechishanu February 4. Nhasi tiri kutarisa zvakawanda, tichange tiri kutarisa nyaya yeCovid-19. Titarisa zvakare zviri kubuda munyaya yemaby-elections kuti ndevapi vachange vachikwikwidza kunge vari mukanzuru uyezve vari vadare muparamenti. Tichange zvakare tiri kutarisa nyaya yenhabvu, tichiona isu kuti pari zvino pasara ipo Egypt neCameroon kuti ndiani achatora mukombe weAfrica Cup of Nations. Tichange tiri kukurukura zvakare tichidzokera kunyaya yeCovid-19. Tinoona kuti bazi rezveutano rinozivisa kuti pane vanhu 5 vakawanikwa ivo vachifa kubva kudenda iri reCovid-19 nezuro, uyezve vanhu 158 vakawanikwa ivo vachibatwa nedenda iri nezuro. Kubva denda iri ratanga pane vanhu vashaya kubva kudenda iri vanosvika ivo 5,400. Tinotarisa zvakare kuti pari zvino tinoona kuti pane vanhu vabayiwa nhomba iyi yeCovid-19 vanodaudzira 4 million nekukwira, uyezve nyika inofanira kubaya vanhu vanosvika ivo 10 million kuwanikwa kuti denda iri riwanikwe, nyika ichisvika pavanoti ivo herd immunity. Asi nhasi tichange tiri kutarisa zvese izvozvi, uyezve tichitarisa kuti ivo vari kukwikwidza mumaby-elections vari kuti chii chavachange vari kupa kune veruzhinji vemunyika.
Yes, Marvellous. Let's start with Harare, where there are so many of these kind of by-elections. So there we go.
Marara no rest Chureki. I'm the candidate here at the Central Constituency for Member of Parliament under the MDC Alliance. Bana. 14 rupee for chaizvo because ine makwikwi akanaka chaizvo nekuti ndiri kutarisira kukunda nenyaya yekuti ndatenderera mumusha ndaona zviri paground ndikuona kuti vandiri kukwikwidzana navo vari kutaridza sokuti vanhu vasiri kudiwa nevanhu zvichibuda nemabasa vanga vachishanda makore apfuura kunyanya vatiri kuda kuedza kutsiva vanga vari member of parliament. Patatenderera mumusha tiri kusangana nezvichemo zvakawanda zvavachitaurwa nevabereki zviri kutaridza kutsutsumwa nekusafara kwavo kuti munhu wataiisa panzvimbo makore ese anga asiri kuoneka mumusha. So titori nenyaya yakaitika musi weSaturday yapfuura patakapotsa tamhanyiswa mumusha weQueensdale tichifungidzirwa kunzi tiri nengo yevaivai vanga vambori former MP. Vabereki vane zvigumbu zvakanyanya ende patandichitaura nevabereki nyaya dzedu navo shoko redu riri kufamba zvakanaka. Vabereki vari kutiteerera, shoko redu riri kupinda, vabereki vari kuti vakamirira kutitsigira ende ndinovimba kuti ndinokunda musarudzo.
Mayuthi mazhinji ari kubasa ndeMDC nenyaya yekuti kucancel pakunobuda mabasa veMDC vanotora mayuthi avo eMDC voendesa kubasa. Mayuthi eZANU-PF haana mukana waari kuwana kuti azoenda kubasa. Saka nechione ichocho ndechakati tizomirawo seyuthi kuti tigone kuona kuti tikapindawo muofisi hatigone kuzvigadzirisa here kuti mayuthi eZANU-PF awanewo mukana wekuti aende kubasa nekuti haana ari kuvamiririra nekuti macandidates anga ari mumusha wedu weGlenora ese anga achibva kuMDC anga achibva kuopposition. Saka tata kutofesa challenge yekuti kunyange munhu MDC asingaide, kunyange baba wake ari muhovheti, asi chachakuitika ndechekuti kana mwana awana basa kuti mhuri yake uirarame, MDC yanga kutotibira mayuthi naizvozvo. Chero baba vake vakati no mwana angu gwarira wakutora harisiriro, asi nenyaya yekuda kudya mwana uona kuti mhuri yoparara here, vanhu votadza kuenda kuchikoro here, chirega ndingoenda nenyaya yekuti chaari kunotsvaga ikoko ibasa. Saka magadzirisiro achinoda kuzviita ndeyekuti kana tichinge tapinda muofisi tomirawo nevana vedu vebato reZANU-PF kuti vana vaende kumabasa, vana vawane maprojects. Nonga zvaizvozvi ndine mamwe maprojects atatakaintroduce anga achiitwa mumusha weGlenora akaita sebaking, kubheka makeke, kubheka chingwa, vanhu vachidzidza mabasa emaoko, kubika kobra. Tine zvizhinji zvatati tichiti tikagona kuwana even vanotibatsirawo financially tirambe tichisimudzira maproject anobatsira mayuthi, anobatsira vana mai nana baba. Nekuti maprojects iwayo haatarisi zera, haatarisi area, anongoitwa nemunhu wose.
Omunye walabo ke abancintisayo abafisa ukuthi bangene khonapha ke kuma elections lawa. So siyabona ukuqala ke kuno Rest Marara la ufuna ukuthi angene khona ngale eHarare ukuthi sizwe ke Marvellous ukuthi uthini ngabantu laba bobabili. Marvellous qhubeka khona.
Aiwapo tanga tiri kunzwa kune vachange vari kukwikwidza muHarare. Taona isu vano Rest Marara vanga vari kuti vakamirira bato reMDC Alliance, tikazoonazve vanga vakamirirawo bato reZANU-PF vachitaurawo kuti ivo vanofungidzira kuti vachahwina. Vanga vari kuti vari imomo muHarare vachitaurawo zvakare kuti munguva yapfuura MDC ndo yanga yakabata nzvimbo zhinji muHarare imomo, uyezve ivo vari kufungidzira kuti panguva inoi ivo seZANU-PF vanogona kukunda sezvo vari kuti ivo vane zvizhinji zvavachange vari kupakurira vanhu vemunzvimbo dzavari kukwikwidza.
Yes, lo baba ke uMhlanga uAlbert Mhlanga ke ukhona ngale ephumula wayebambile iconstituency leyi sefisa ukuthi abuyele futhi njalo eMDC Alliance. So uMhlanga ke uthi ungumuntu wasebenza laboTsvangirai laboGibson Sibanda labantu abaningi kakhulu, so uyafisa ukuthi abantu bembisele esikhundleni.
My name is Albert Mhlanga. I've been nominated to represent Phumula under the banner of MDC Alliance, which is a pact of about 7 parties aligned to form the alliance. My political history starts when I was a councillor at Ward 16 Kwabalanda, which I did about 2 terms as a councillor, and I'm proud I did it very well. And after 2 terms being a councillor, I had a chance to be a deputy mayor of this city of Bulawayo under the leadership of Ubaba Undabeni Ngcobe. And according to the people of Bulawayo, that was the best council they ever had. They wish we could repeat the work the task they've actually given to us. I proceeded then to Parliament of Zimbabwe, where I also shined. Those who knew me in Parliament, they knew who they represented. They've got a true representation. I did my representative role. All the issues, all the problems concerning Phumula, I was taking them to Parliament. And in Parliament, I did exercise my overall role of monitoring ministries, which that role every member of Parliament is supposed to be having. I was in the Committee of Transport, Committee of Health, a number of committees, which I'm also not new. There will be no need for training people like us. It will be just going as work as usual. I therefore beg and urge you people of Phumula and Greater Bulawayo to vote me to Parliament of Zimbabwe. Aluta continua. Ngimela idale lePhumula eParliament yeZimbabwe lapho enginominate khona ukuba ngiye contesta mhla ka-26 under the MDC Alliance banner. Politically, mina ngu People's Democratic Party eyo engxenye ye-movement for Democratic Change Alliance. Yikho ke bangikhethile ukuthi ngifile leyo game. Ipolitics zami aziqalisanga namhlanje, ziqalise ngingukhansila eGwabalanga. Ngacha amathemu amabili. Ngaphinda njalo enye ithemu ngayichaya sengu-deputy mayor wedorobho leli lakoBulawayo. Ngingumsekeli kababa uNdabeni Ngcobe. Ngisuka lapho ngangena eParliament, lakho phose ngachaya amathemu amabili eParliament kangimutsha. Yikho ke ngiyalinxusa zakhamizi zePhumula bantu bakoBulawayo ukuba lingibisele eParliament ngiyeqedisa umsebenzi esawuqalisayo labo baba uMorgan Tsvangirayo. Ngebe kuyingqondo enhle sibili umkhumbulo umuntu wezwa uTsvangirayo ukuthi siform i-alliance. Ngoba nxa kungela alliance akula umuntu oyedwa ongakhipha izano lapho. Ngoba sesibonile ukuthi kuyahlupha ukungazwanani kwenza izano iqhubeke ibusi. Yikho ke ngiyalinxusa kakhulu zakhamizi zakoBulawayo Phumula omuhle ingichasi.
Yeah, Marvellous. That is the aspiring member of Parliament for Phumula. He is Mr. Albert Mhlanga. He was once in that position, so he still wants to get back in that position, or let me say in that seat, as the member of Parliament for that area. So he's one guy who has worked with so many politicians, in the past. He used to work with Tsvangirai, he worked with Gibbs Sibanda, and then he worked with Welshman Ngcobe and many, many other politicians. So he says he's begging people to vote for him. He says there's a lot that he can do for people in Phumula. And in most cases, when some people are elected, he says they go to Parliament and become sitting ducks. They don't do anything there. So he says he doesn't fear anyone. He will always say what he wants. And that's him. That's Mr. Albert Mhlanga.
Aiwa apo tanga tiri kunzwa kubva kuna vaAlbert Mhlanga vanoti ivo vachange vakamirira Phumula kuti vawanikwe vachisarudzwa ikoko. Vari kuti ivo vakamboshanda zvakare mukanzuru yeBulawayo vachiti ivo vanga vari mutevedzeri wemutungamiri wameya wemuguta iroro. Vakati hanzi ivo basa ravakaita vazhinji vanovataurira kuti panguva apo vanga varipo pabasa ipapo ndo kanzuru yakashanda zvikurusa munzvimbo iyo yeBulawayo. Saka vari kuti havasi kutya kuti vanodyiwa nevamwe vanhu, asi vachange vakamirira MDC Alliance vachitsvaga rutsigiro rwekuti vadzoke zvakare muparamende.
Yes, we have got another person that is contesting the same seat, and that is Mr. Richard Ngcobe. He'll be under ZAPU. You still remember there's a big party called ZAPU, right? It used to be big, and maybe it's still big. I'm not sure. So let's hear what he's saying about his party, and he's also, like many ZAPU supporters, talking a lot about devolution of power.
Ngincube uRichard ilunga leZAPU ngizamela iZAPU ku lukhetho lwabo MP ePhumula constituency. Umbono wami ke ngowePhumula ezaba isibonelo amanye ama constituency iPhumula ezabe igijima phambili abanye belandela. Silandela ke umbono weZAPU wokuletha amandla ezabelweni. Ngiyaloyisa ukuthi ngiqhubekise phambili umbono wami ukusebenza labantu bonke abaku-constituency. Ngisebenze nzima, ngisebenzela ukubambana kwabantu abehlukeneyo ngezigaba zabo. Ndimi konke okusehlukanisayo kodwa sibambane. Ngiza kwenza ke ukuthi bonke abakusigaba sethu constituent yethu, ama residents associations, ama church, ama business, abezombangazwe, abezomthetho, abazali labantwana, sonke sikhuthaze ukuthula lokuba lobuntu esigabeni. Ukuthuthuka kwesigaba kuza kuyama ekuhlalisekeni kwesigaba sethu, njalo abathungameli begobela intando yabantu, sisenza izinto zonke sizibeka egcekeni. Ngingavotelwa, ngiza kusekela izinhlelo zonke. Siyananzelela phakathi kwethu kulezi zinhlelo zokuphathisa abaswelayo, sizazisekela. Kulezi zinhlelo ezenziwa ngabanye ukuthuthukisa ezomdabu, sizazisekela. Sizasekela amabhizinisi aqalisayo, sizasekela olutsha nxa lufuna ukuvula amabhizinisi, sisekela abadala, sisekele ngakho konke. Sisebenza sibili ndawonye kakhulu njengesigaba. Yikho sisithi amandla ebantwini, amandla ezabelweni,
Yes, Marvellous. That is Mr. Richard Dube. He is the aspiring member of parliament for Phumula. You know, that's where Mr. Albert Mhlanga is. And there are also some other contestants in that particular place. So he's talking about devolution. He's talking about people working together all the time. And he says, you know, as ZAPU, they are going to make sure that power is in the people and not power in politicians, you know?
Apo tanga tiri kunzwa kubva kubato reZAPU riri kutiwo iro richawanikwawo richikwikwidza munzvimbo yePhumula, uyezve vari kuti ivo kana vapindawo pachigaro vachaona kuti masimba anoenda kuvanhu kwete kubato.
Yes, we also have Mr. Fungai Chikosi. He will be contesting in Harare. He will tell us exactly what he's going to be doing there. So let's go straight to him. And he's also here with Mr. Mavuso Chabalala, who is campaigning for ZAPU. So there we go.
Contestant ku Kambuzuma constituency, and ndakamirira bato redu rinonzi MDC Alliance. Rinova bato hombe chaizvo, ndofunga tese tinoriziva pano, and hatina kana mubvunzo wekuti tinowina here. Kuwina, it's beyond question, tichawina.
Zvii zvamunotarisira kuzoitira vanhu muchinge makunda?
Kana ndichinge ndapinda kuKambuzuma, tine ma-issues akati atiri kutarisana nawo muconstituency medu, anosanganisira ma-roads edu, anosanganisira coordination yedu kuona kuti mayouth vari kusupportwa zvakanaka here, madzimai nevanenge vati kurei. Saka tichange tichitarisa nyaya dzakaita saidzodzo, ndichidzifambisawo zvakare mubato redu reparamendi, uye ndichidzokerawo kuconstituency ndichinotaura nevanhu, ndichinzwa zvido zvavo, ndodzokera zvakare kuma-councillors edu tichigadzirisa ma-issues anenge achida kunge achigadzirwa ne-council. I am here standing for MDC Alliance. As we all know, MDC Alliance is one of the biggest opposition parties in Zimbabwe. And today I have submitted my candidature for Kambuzuma constituency, where I'll be contesting for the House of Assembly. To the people of Kambuzuma, I ensure them a people-driven participation in the House of Parliament. What has happened before is that our parliamentarians have not fully consulted with the people in terms of the issues that need to be put in the House of Assembly. I promise to be consulting the people. It does not matter whether you are going to vote for me in this particular election or not. I will still come back to you, represent you, and make sure that your wishes and desires are heard in the Parliament of Zimbabwe.
But isenze njalo ungamabhunu lokhu kunganise kusigada amakhanda bathi hayi asiboneni plan la bafoma into kuthiwa iZimbabwe African People's Union izaphu ngalelo langa mhla ka 17 December bathe befoma izaphu bafunga bathi into leyi amabhunu ajayele ukubhana into leyi ayisoze yafa ayisoze yenza njani ayisoze yafa izaphu ingangena phansi evumbuluka laphana unwabu liyalwazi nqalu lapha esihlahleni esiluhlaza luba luhlaza lehlelwe emahlamvini yatshintsha ikhala lube semoteni emhlophe lutshintsha ikhala kodwa ikhala into leyana yini lunwabu yizaphu leyo yangena ku-unity accord yaphuma yajoyina kuthiwa ngubani ukhamisa yaphuma ilokhu yizaphu bantu bakithi yafungelwa abadala bathi amabhunu lawa nxa behlangene bona bangabhali izinto bavumelane basayinelana phansi bayenza ama-affidavit badinge manje thina singabantu abamnyama sizasayina ngabo bathi hayi khona kulula lo babebethi hayi thina silayo ethi affidavit African attire bagebha igodi bakhafulela bagqibela ngendololwane bafunga ijoyi elamakhala bonke bathi inyamazana ayisoze yafa ngalelo langa mhla ka 17 December 1961 yikho lapha leli lizwe lathola khona ibizo elithi Zimbabwe. Before that yayingekho iZimbabwe. iZimbabwe yafonywa ibizo layo mhla ka 17 December 1961. Okungamapolisa lingakuzwa ukungani kuyalishayinela limtshela ukuthi siyakhipha izethu ngowethu belongs to us. Abanye laba bazopanduka ngemuva sebesenza into yabo ye-tribalism. Kodwa ke leli lizwe leli nezilonge ezizaphu ingenzanga lokho kumele ikwenze isifungo lesiyana hayi ijoy mama sibili bantu bakithi isikhathi siyavuma isikhathi yiso lesi bonile benzile umbuso omubi for the past 41 years osokumele kwenzakale ukuthi thina sizaphu singene sitshengise ukuthi hayi umbuso ubanjwa ngaye nalindlela eyiyo sisenza sisiya phambili kanye siya phambili kanye.
Yeah, Marvellous, that's Mavuso Chabalala. He's campaigning for ZAPU there. So he's saying, ZAPU was formed long back. And there was a promise that it should fight for the liberation of the country. And it did exactly that. But after independence, things went haywire, according to him and the party. So he says time has come for people to vote for ZAPU. So then we heard from Chikosi saying, you know what, vote for MDC Alliance in order to have prosperity. So you see, there are so many of these kind of views all over the show, right?
And I saw that he's also wearing yellow. Is that the ZAPU color?
Yeah, that's the ZAPU color. They started doing that maybe 3-4 years ago.
So there's likely to be, confusion, I think, in the ballot box. But apo tanga tiri kunzwa kubva kune vari kutsigira MDC, vari kutsigira CCC, MDC Alliance, and vari kutsigira
MDC Alliance, yes.
MDC Alliance kuHarare kwavari kutsigira ikoko vari kufunga kuti vachawina uyezve tikanzwa kubva kune vari kutsigira ZAPU vachitaurawo maonero avo kuti vari kufunga ivo kuti vachakunda sezvo vakatanga basa iri pachiri nenguva kudhara zvekuti vari kuona kunge munzvimbo yavari kuwanikwa vachikwikwidza zvichabuda zvakanaka.
And we also have a ZAPU activist, and that is Mr. Sibanda. He's in Bulawayo. He says, no way, no party can win. As long as ZANU is there, just forget about it.
Igama lami ngumaqhawe Sibanda.
Uliphi bandla?
Mina ngwezanu PF.
Akusitsheleki koBulawayo. Ikhona enzani PF koBulawayo?
Hayi khona kakhulu izanu PF koBulawayo.
Ikhona. Wena usesemutsha bayakwazi ukuthi ugijima lama-youth ezanu. Kambe lo nyaka uyangena yini kumncintiswane lo?
Hayi mina lo nyaka ngingeni kumncintiswane but ngisasupporta bona abazangena.
Uthina ama-elections la uthi abuya ama-by-elections la?
Ama-by-elections yinto enhle kakhulu ukuthi yenzakale and mina ngibona ngani ngebandla lethu elikhona ngendlela esiyiyo khona khathesi i-strength esilayo mbona ngani hayi sizadobhadobha sibambe lapho esibamba khona. I think sizabamba ama-constituents 2 or so esingawabamba goqela ukuthi mbona uNkulumane lamakhansila lapha khona kubo Country Park kubo lapha ku Ward 7 mbona ngani singadobha.
Ubona ngani kunini vele lingazakele wawine lawo koBulawayo ubona ngandlela abantu bona this time liyawina?
Mbona ngani ukuthi siyawina it's because of ukuthi it's a new dispensation, it's a new beginning ezanu PF and sisesikhathini kulabantu abatsha abangenileyo emncintisweni lo. Yikho ngubona ukuthi maybe khathesi lathi singadobhadobha ngoba
ngo-2023 uzangena yini wena?
Ngo-2023 lathi sizazama khonapho ukuthi ngingene.
Ungene usesemutsha phela wena?
Ngoba ngisasemutsha hayi sizazama ukuthi ngingene.
Kodwa sokwakhona kwatshintshayo kubona ukuthi ukwenza ukuthi ungene uzakutshintsha ebandleni lakho?
Kuningi kakhulu. Kuningi kakhulu okungayenza ukuthi njengabantu abatsha ngoba siyabe sizwanana sikwazi ukuthi sifuna ukwenzayo okungayenza ukuthi sibambe sidophe.
Kuyini ukuthi abantu bakoBulawayo lapho uthini kubo so siyavota nje?
Abantu bakoBulawayo mina ngikutsho kakhulu abantu bakoBulawayo yokuthi umuntu oyabe efuza ukuthi engene umuntu ofuze bekwazi ukuthi khona ulwela i-region yakithi ebekwazi ingayilwela ulwela uBulawayo ngakuthi ungenile engu-MP kungabe ngu-MP lwana ukuthi ungenile nawo kumbe ngumuntu wekhezi kumbe ngumuntu welupane kumbe ngumuntu wezwarapano uthola ukuthi umuntu usesebenzela kibo lapha asebenzela avela khona futhi ukuthi umuntu nxa engwakoBulawayo elwele uBulawayo elwele lapho akhona angenele khona engalweli kwezinye lapho akhona angenele khona engalweli kwezinye.
Right, so that is Mr. Sibanda. He belongs to ZANU-PF. And he's saying, ZANU-PF is going to sweep, in these by-elections. So he's very confident. He says it's because it's a new dispensation, so they are going to do their best. There's a lot that he says ZANU-PF is actually doing for the people. And so it will continue doing that and is attracting a lot of attention. Marvellous.
Apo tanga tiri kunzwa kubva kune mutsigiri webato reZANU-PF vachiti ivo semaonero avo bato ravo reZANU-PF richakunda musarudzo dziri kuuya dzema-by-elections nekuti semaonero avo vari kuti ivo bato ravo reZANU-PF riri kuita zvakawanda chaizvo uyezve vari kufara naro.
So before we take in our guests, let's have another video from Esnat Kumalo, who was talking to Ezra Sibanda about what she can do in Ward 12. She represents the Republican Party of Zimbabwe. So she's very confident that she's going to win. And she says she's the right person to vote for.
Yeah, namhlanje thuwelihle lapha sathi ngizivakatshela ibandla ke lama-Republicans, Republican Party of Zimbabwe. Ama-Republicans lapha ngikhumalo bani mama?
Khumalo Esnat Khumalo.
Esnat Khumalo wena ngwebandla leli lama-Republicans ke uyi-candidate la?
Ngi-candidate.
Akusitshele mo ngawe lokuthi i-candidate.
Ngizinikele ukuba yi-candidate from...
Ungubani abantu bathanda phela babekwazi ukuthi u-Esnat ngwangaphi langaphi.
Alright, mina ngu-Esnat Khumalo ngiyi-candidate. Mina vele ngidabuka kwapha eZimbabwe kodwa ngingu-esigodini. Ngizomela abantu bakoBulawayo ngokuzinikela kwami ukuthi lami ngizinikele.
Ubulawayo lapho mkhulu yi-candidate yangaphi?
RPZ.
Ngithi ungaphi iphela indawo?
Ngu-Ward 12 injubelo Bhengula lapho engimele khona uba yi-candidate uba yi-council. so ngizinikele ukwenza leyo nto ukuthi lami ngibe yi-part of entweni leyi yokuba yi-candidate. Ngikujabulele kakhulu.
Lapho ufuna ukwenza nokumela abantu njani uthini wena?
Ukumela abantu kulabantu leyo i-white 12 kulabantu abadala kakhulu abangasakwanisi lutho. Izindlu ezinye zivaliwe ngendaba yezikwereti, ezinye zivaliwe ngendaba yamagetsi, abasakwanisi lutho, abaselabo omkabo. So ngunanzelela ukuthi kuyadingakala ukuthi ngingumama ngikhangele lezi zinto ezinjalo. Njalo lezikolo zethu azisalunganga, sezidilikile, le ama-floors akhona segugile. So ngazinikela ukuthi nxa ngaba ingxenye yaleli bandla ngimele izakhamuzi zaku-village 12 lami ngingenza okufunwa ngabantu.
So lapha-ke wena ufuna ukuya ekhansilini. Kuyini obonani uzafika ukutshintshe kukhansile koBulawayo? Kuyini abakwehlulekayo bona abakusekhansile koBulawayo?
Kuningi abehlekayo izikolo lokhu ezindala, izikolo azilamabhentshi, abantwana balamabhuku, amasuriji agcwele all over, idoti gcwele amaphepha, akuklinwa njengoBulawayo engimaziyo akudala. So ngizama ukuthi nxa ngingangena ngingazama ukuthi lami khonapho engisole khona ngikwenze.
Lona-ke ibandla lakho leli libunjwe nini? Lilabantu?
Ya, lilabantu. Mina ngingene kilo ngo-2018, lona libunjwe ngo-2017.
Likhokhelwa mbani?
Ukwanele Hlabangani.
Kwanele Hlabangani, new president. Nguye okhona-ke kuthiwa uhulumende kuthiwa ne-organization ikoba. So utheni yena nomongameli wakho uthi wena kuyini azasebenza kwazancedisa koBulawayo?
Uthena kunengi ama-mistake la abonayo koBulawayo. Asoyibulawayo ayaziyo yakudala, siyibulawayo egugileyo engalalutho, esiphonga ukuphila nje ngokuthi umuntu uyaphila kodwa kungalalutho olubambekayo.
That is Mrs. Esnath Kumalo. She wants to represent Ward 12 in Bulawayo. So she's very, very happy that she's participating in these by-elections, and she's very confident that she may win. That she's going to win actually. So she's promising to fix certain places, like she's not happy about roads, the state of roads in the city. She's not happy about the sewer system in the city, the water system, and perhaps the entire reticulation system. She's not happy at all, but she says she can fix all that. So we've got Mr. Nhlanhla Moses Ndlovu of the Freedom Alliance, who's going to give us his take on what some of these candidates are saying. Let's start with welcome to the program, Mr. Ndlovu.
Thank you, Mr. Dube.
Thank you so much. So let's start with what Mrs. Esnath Kumalo was saying here. She says, it's possible that she can fix certain problems in the city of Bulawayo. She says almost everything is going the wrong direction. What's your take on
that? Thank you very much. I am actually appreciative of a lady candidate coming into the fray to say her place must be developed as it were. But I'm wondering how she is going to do it. And unfortunately, I couldn't listen to her. I actually, when you bring them, I get cut off on this other end. So what we need now is not somebody who is telling us that I'm going to fix the road. We want somebody who is going to say, I am going to do A, B, C, D to fix the road. This is where we are going to get the money. We need so much to fix the road, rather than to just come and make promises. Because as I tell you, it's 41 years into independence. Promises have been made, but delivery has not been forthcoming. So I would have expected the esteemed prospective councillor or MP to actually specify how she is going to do this, how she will be able to withstand the abuse of authority by ZANU, where all the money from the Bulawayo City Council, for example, will be taken by the minister, who will decide whatever they want to do. If you remember, there is another video where the president of ZANU is saying to people, those that want to, where will they report? He was talking about the MDC alliance, saying, where are they going to report it to so that their problems are resolved? We will only take those submissions from ZANU PF people. So we want her to tell us how she's going to deal with that.
So, Marvellous, I think you can hear what Mr. Nhlanhla is saying. Basically, the councillor, the prospective councillor, was promising that she's going to take care of the reticulation system. She would also take care of certain issues, in the city of Bulawayo. So, but Mr. Nhlanhla is saying, you know what? Instead of saying she's going to fix the road, she must tell us how she's going to fix the road. He says that's where the problem is. So, Baba Nhlanhla, waqhubeka ngesindebele sifika sizingena Marvellous.
Yeah, thina njenge-Freedom Alliance sikholelwa kakhulu kubomama, yikho zathola ukuthi structure sethu sibunjwa ngabantu okumele benze baphatheke kakhulu kwezentuthuko. Ngakho-ke
network yakho bengazani yaqhumeka Baba Nhlanhla, asingazi ukuthi kanjani. Yeah. So sengikuzwe khona manje, qhubeka ngizwe, qhubeka baba.
Okay, ngicela ukuthi ngenzeke kanje. Okay, yeah. Yes. Thina ke siyakusekela ukuthi omama baphatheke kwezombusazwe. Kodwa ke siyamuzwa lapho yakhuluma umama uMakhumalo. Angisezwanga kahle ukuthi ngizwe ukuthi ufuna kuba ngukhansila, uthi uzalungisa izinto. Sithi ke thina 41 years lokho sitshelwa ukuthi ngizakwenza umgwaqo. Kodwa ukuthi umgwaqo wakho uzawenza njani? Imali yakho uzayithatha njani? Izabi raiswe njani imali yakho? Ngoba siyakwazi ukuthi imali lezi eziphuma khona apha sithi nxa kukobulawayo kukhansila yakobulawayo ziyathathwa zisiwe Harare imali lezi ukuthi ziphume khona ngale zimbanqwa nguminister ahlale phezulu kwazo imali leziyana ziyesetshenziswa ama-campaign engxenye awezanu kumbe kusemtorashanga khona. Sithi ke akasichazele kahle ke umuntu wakithi ukuthi uza kwenza njani, hayi ukuthi athi uza kwenza umgwaqo. Sifuna sitshele ukuthi uzakwenzani ukuze alungise imigwaqo lakho konke okunye okuhluphayo. Ngoba uhluphe sesilalo sokuyikuthi kufana lo muntu okhuluma ku-interview efuna umsebenzi, ukhuluma thembise ikampani ukuthi uzakwenza izimanga, uthola ukuthi uzabetshonelele hlezi hlalele esitulweni kungalanto ayenzayo. So sisesicela ke isesifuna idelivery, izithembiso ezibonakalayo ukuthi lesi singenzeka lesi. Nxa umuntu esithi uzakuthengela atheni uzakuthengela isitimela esehlule ukuthenga okulufudwanyana kwemota encinyane, kahle ukutshengisa ukuthi into anithembisa wona umuntu lo kayikho.
But certainly people have to make promises, right? These candidates.
Yes, that's how politics is, and politics is now the arena where you just promise anything. Uthembisa abantu isibhakabhaka ukuthi ngizabe ngizolibekela isibhakabhaka libukela ngama weekend, kodwa ukwazi ukuthi angeke isibhakabhaka sakhona usilethe ebantwini.
Marvellous.
Aiwa, apo tiri kunzwa vaNcube vachitaura kuti zvakanaka hazvo kuti vanhu vari kuuya vanoita zvematongerwo enyika vari kuda kuita makanzura kana vari kuda kuita ma-MP vachiwanikwa ivo vachitaura kuti toda kuzoita zvakati nezvakati, asi ivo semaonero avo vanofunga kuti vanhu vanofanira kuuya vane strategy yekuti vachazozviita sei, kuti kana vati vada kugadzira migwagwa vachaigadzira sei, panodiwa mari yakawanda sei kuti migwagwa iyi igadzirwe nezvimwe zvakadaro. Kana vati ivo vada kugadzirisa nyaya yemvura vanofanira kutaura kuti mvura iyi vachaigadzirisa sei, panodiwa mari yakawanda sei kuti mvura ikwanise kunge yakachena. Ndokutaurawo kuri kuita vaNcube. asi regai tienderere mberi nechirongwa chedu Gibbs.
Yes, we still have got some other people that want to contest, and one of them is going to contest in Nkulumane, and here he's talking to Ezra Sibanda about what he's going to do for the people of Nkulumane.
Labahlangana ke njalo ke i-Republican Party of Zimbabwe ke ongiye la ozancedisa kokhetho lwama-by-elections ka-March 26. Nunzana ngubani?
Mina igama nguGregory Lovejoy Ncube, ngumfana okhulele ozalelwe eWange College Hospital, masephuma ngazohlala khona apha eBulawayo. So ngumuntu okhulele eNkulumane from primary school, secondary school up to date. Ngumntwana wakho ampana ekhaya. So yebo ndemsebenzi yokucula ngiyenza lokudlala but ngingene ku-Republican Party of Zimbabwe, RPZ in abbreviation. Sikhangelele ukuthi silungise
inhlupho party
ibunjwe 2018. Yes, sikhangelele ukuthi silungise inhlupho esizibonayo njengabantu esigabeni. Siyabe sihlangana lezinhlupho eziningi kodwa siba labantu abasezindaweni lezi bethi bayalungisa kodwa bayabuya.
Kuyini okusole kakhulu okwenzala eNkulumane la?
Uyabona eNkulumane sile ohluphi kakhulu singakhangela ebantwaneni besifazane, youth, girl child, labantu abangomama. Bahlezi belenhlupho eziningi ezokuthi kudingakala ukuthi bancediswe ngoba abantu bangomama kumele banakekele. Kodwa lokho kule same problem from day one. Ngimncane ngikhula ngiphuma endlini ngishiya umama ngikwazi ukuthi lohlupho oluthile ngiphenduke futhi ngisole kufanana lakathi esiloke kuyinto efana nayo. So yikho sikudingayo ngoba ungananzela kulabanye abantwana abangakwanisi ukuthi bazithengele ama-toiletries. There are other children who are not even able to pay school fees. Kulabanye ogogo abahleziyo abangekho la ku-pension fund ukuthi uyathola ukuthi uyabesehluleka lokuthi umzukulu akamkhulise njani ngoba wehluleka kumthathisa even i-birth certificate. Kulama-problems amaningi esigabeni sokuthi athola bengela kudla. Abantwana bedubeka uzithola umntwana ehlezi kuyenza abanye abantwana besifazane begcine besiyakhomba ngenxa yokuthi she has to find a way to survive. So we must improve i-life yomntwana enkazana.
Uzakwenza njani iphathi yakho ule-1 MP uzakulobha ngaphi lokho eParliament?
Well, nxa ithuba selikhona ukuthi ngene eParliament ngihamba ngiyekhuluma kuhle labo sibonisane bangizwe ukuthi ngithini ngoba ukukhala kwabo sisi bami labana abami uhlupho lwabo ngolwami.
Ane bakhala bathi if nxa imember ye-opposition ngaze ungene eParliament akulanto ozayitshintsha lapha wona ubona ngani uzatshintshana?
Hayi uyabona sengangananzelela khona ukuthi kulabanye abantu abangenayo bahlale bephiwe futhi development fund kodwa bengenzi lutho izibuyele i-development fund lana. Into eqhakathekileyo ukuthi you work with the community regardless of which political party they come from. Lihlale phansi lonke livumelane lenze ama-project proposals, then when that money comes you sit down and vote on what to do concerning that money. Le project labe libone i-productive to the community, then you do it. Akulanto ehlula abantu
kuground lapha eNkulumane bathina abantu nxa bekhuluma lawo.
Well, abantu ngobhuti bami ngosisi bami, I've talked to many of them and they know and appreciate their way ukuthi ama intentions ami ngawani, and I'm not a corrupt politician ukuthi mhlawumbe nje busy whatever ngigijima ngithembisa abantu ezingekho because my main aim is angifuni ukuthembisa umuntu lutho. I can promise my girlfriend but I don't want to promise people things. I want ukuthi singeneni ku ground sonke nini siyenze nini into kumele siyenze. Silungiseni isigaba sethu than to be making promises to them for no reason.
So ufuna ukuthi usenzele abantu ukutshintsha?
Ngifuna ukusebenza labantu sitshintshe isigaba sethu ngoba ngikhaya. We don't need somebody. Kulumane is my home. We don't need somebody to come from.
That is Mr. Gregory Ndlovu, who is going to be looking for some votes, in Nkulumane. He says people should vote for his party. That is the Republican Party of Zimbabwe. And he says, there's a lot that he can do for the constituency. And he says one thing for sure, there are these constituency funds that are normally not being used in a very appropriate manner in terms of, engagement with the community. So he says, if elected, he will use that money effectively to turn around Nkulumane in terms of many, many things. Marvellous.
Aiwapo tanga tiri kunzwa vachange vakamirira Republican Party kuNkulumane vachitaura ivo kuti kana vakasarudzwa vachange vari kuunza upundutso munzvimbo yeNkulumane imomo nekuti vari kuti pane mari dzakawanda dzinopiwa avo vanenge vari munzvimbo dzavanomirira dzavachazowanikwa ivo vachishandisa kuti vaunze pundutso munzvimbo iyoyi.
Yeah, so we still have maybe our last video, and this is the leader of the Republican Party. So Ezra Sibanda managed to get as many people as possible belonging to that party so that people can hear what other parties are thinking of.
Bethu indawo zonke jikelele eZimbabwe ngiyinkokheli yebandla le-Republican Party of Zimbabwe, enye yamabandla ezaphatheka kumkhankaso okhona khathesi wama-by-elections esizaba layo mhla ka-26 March 2022. Esikukhuthazayo kakhulu njengebandla ukuthi abantu abaphume ngobuningi babo bayarejista ukuvota. Sizwile ukuthi abezeki bazabe behambela indawana zonke ukuthi abantu bathola amathuba okubhalisa ukuvota, ngoba nxa ungabhalisanga ukuvota kunzima ukuthi uyevota. Kodwa sikhuthaza njalo ukuthi abantu nxa besiyavota bakwenze bekhululekile, kungabi khona ukuncindezelana kumbe ukuthi ukuchawa kwabantu besalisa ukuthi bakhampeni endaweni ezithile. Sifuna konke kube lokukhululeka, ngoba yiwumthetho weZimbabwe othi wona wonke umuntu ulelungelo lokwenza ipolitics. So sinjalo siyiphathi yikho esikumeleyo. Sithembisa kakhulu ukuthi nxa sesikhethiwe sangena ema-ofisini sizakwenza lokho okufunwa ngabantu ukuguqula impilo zabo zisiba ngcono. Ngiyabonga.
Lapha ke kuyavotwa kusenkulumane.
Thina njengephathi silama candidate, silo candidate wethu Gregory Ncube ozabe simele ngu-MP enkulumane constituency, eyinye yama-constituency amakhulu kakhulu koBulawayo. Sibe laye njalo uStanford Nyoni ePhumula constituency ozabe mele isigaba soku-MP, lo Esnat Khumalo ku-Ward 12 eLobhekula constituency. Sibathembile izinkokheli ezithembakeleyo lezi sezitshengisele ngokusebenza kwazo. Nxa ngikhuluma ngikhangela kakhulu Gregory ungomunye wabaculi, ngilethemba ukuthi abaculi kuyabajabulisa lokho ukuthi sebelomunye wabo bameleyo, ngoba abaculi balendingo zabo labo abafisa ukuthi zilungiswe.
Leli bandla likhanya ke libandla elikhulayo ngawukhangele lamalunga indawo lonke lezwe.
Ibandla ukukhula kwalo baba Sibanda ukuthi umsebenzi esiwenzayo asikhangelanga kuphela khona apha kuBulawayo lapha esikhona, sikhangelela iZimbabwe yonke. Siyaqhubeka sisebenza endaweni ezijiyeneyo, silabo amalunga eparty endaweni zabo Manikhaleni, silabo eHarare, ngikhuluma nje balalele, silabo ku-March South, silabo March Central, March West. Asimanga kuphela, siyaqhubeka sigqugquzela ukuthi abantu bangene babe ngabalunga aleli bandla.
Nxa sikhangele kathesi ke abantu abathi ke kungani kungabanjani amabandla lawo amancane wonke, abanye bahlala bekhuluma ngawo ukuthi ukhanya ukhaliphile, kungani kungabanjwana labanye?
Ngibona ngathi kuyamele sibuyele emuva. Ngakhumbula sasivele silayo thina inkosi uMzilikazi yayibumbe isizwe. Ukubumba isizwe ukuthi ungenzi ipolitics zokwehlukanisa abantu beZimbabwe kumele babumbane, ikakhulu nxa ngakhuluma ngabantu lapha engivela khona eMathebeleni ukuthi akube lokubambana. Ukubambana kutsho ukuthi ubani sokumele abe yinkokheli, ngoba isikhathi esiningi kuyaye kubambiswana izikhundla. Noma sibona olutho ngesolinye kodwa sisuka sesihluphana ukuthi ozasikhokhela ngubani. Akunandaba ukuthi okhokhelayo ngubani, okuqakathekileyo ukuthi asiguquleni impilo zabantu. Nxa sivumelana ukuthi okumele kwenziwe lokho, akukhathalekile ukuthi nguwe Ezra ongasikhokhela. Nxa sikubona ukuthi uzimisele ungakwenza lokho, lami nginje ngizakusekela. Kimi angilandaba ukuthi balokhokhelayo, engikucelayo ukuthi kube lokubambana, kube lokuthula, sibe le vision eyodwa, umbono owodwa othi wona sifuna ukuthuthukisa ilizwe lethu.
Kunamaphathi amatsha abunjiwe nje, konile wechams ebunjiwe, uthini ngakho lo?
So there you are, Marvellous. So that is Mr. Nhlanhla. He is the leader of the Republican Party of Zimbabwe. He says people must unite, so that they fight as a group. He says it's far much better to fight as a group than to fight as individuals. So he's encouraging, opposition parties to get together and, make a plan, as the street lingo always say. Make a plan for,
What's very interesting to me, Gibbs, is the Republican Party. They seem to have quite a few candidates, but they have not been very vocal throughout the year. We're just seeing them during the election. What's your take?
No, I think perhaps they've been in Poland. I posed that question personally to Mr. Nhlanhla, and he said, we're speaking through Poland. So I said, okay, but I never heard your voice in Poland. So maybe Mr. Dube has got something to say there.
Thank you very much. Yes, we are also aware. I only heard about them, I think, late last year, that they were in Poland when we were talking about the cars and everything. Our problem is that we have parties that you will only see during election time. That is very concerning, especially for us
who are looking at forging a united front against the authoritarian regime. So people like Dr. Shabangan and others could do it far much better. They are talking about unity. They are very right on that one, because when you are united, the next person will actually advise you that we can't do things like this. You will sit down, then you share divergent views, then you will come up with the resolutions that you would actually market you better out there. So for them to come now, probably, it will be that they did not want to oppose ZANU-PF because they wouldn't enjoy whatever they are enjoying, I mean, within the confines of Poland. So that actually doesn't bode well for their campaign, I think.
Yes, Marvellous, can you chip in there? So there you are.
Apo tanga tiri kunzwa tatanga tanzwa isu kune mutungamiriri webato reRepublican Party vachitaura ivo kuti aiwa vachange vaine vanhu vazhinji vachange vari kukwidza. Saka ndabvunza ini kuna Gibbs kuti bato iri reRepublican Party hatinyanyonzwa nezvaro, tiri kungorinzwa panguva ino yesarudzo. Akati iye aiwa iye akambotaura navo akavabvunzawo mubvunzo iwoyo. Vahlabangana vanova mutungamiriri webato iri vakataura kuti vari mugungano rePoland. Saka tazonzwa kubva kuna vaNcude vari pano vachitaura ivo kuti zvinhu zvakadai hazviwanzofadza veruzhinji, nekuti vanhu vanenge vachida kuziva kuti zvii zviri kuitwa nemapato aya, kwete kumirira kusvika pava panguva yesarudzo kuti vanhu vazonyatsonzwa kuti vari kuda kunge vachiitira zvii kune vanhu vachavavhotera. Saka ndo zvinhu zvatiri kukurukura pamusoro pezvazvo kuti zvii zviri kuitika munyaya yezvematongerwo enyika. Tinoona kuti pane mapato akasiyana-siyana nyanya vanokwikwidzwa vatinozoona vachinyuka kana pave nesarudzo dzingave dziri dzemutungamiri wenyika kana sarudzo dzemabi-elections dzatakatarisana nadzo mwedzi unouya.
Kodwa Ncube nxa sukhangele ubona ngani kuyini okwenza ukuthi amabandla abe maningi ngesikhathi sokhetho kwenziwa kuyini khonokho?
The problem is that amabandla ikakhulu ngingathi akhokhelwa ngumdlandla womncintiswano. Umdlandla wokuthi kuyini okuzakwenziwa awukho. Kulo mdlandla wokuncintiswana ukuthi mina sengigijime phambili ngakuchiya ngafika ngadobha ibhanzi eliphambili. I-planning yonke kumbe ukuhlela konke kuba ngokuthi ngiyefika ngidobhe ibhanzi leliyana phambili esithi khona ku-unsustainable. Into i-sustainable development ifuna abantu abale sustained programs ukuthi lihlala phansi likhangele ukuthi vele kuyini esifuna ukukwenzela uzulu uthini. Isikhathi esiningi amabandla yiwo atshela uzulu ukuthi mina nginguNcube yimi esengilimela, kukanti abantu yibo kumele bathi khona Ncube sicela ukukuthuma ukuthi uyesenzela lokho. Kodwa nxa sihamba ngomncintiswano, mina sengivele ngilabanye ngifuna ukugijima mbachiye, ngigijima ngize kini khonapho. Kuyingqondo efakwe yizanu yona leyo ukuthi kwenziwa umncintiswano. Nxa umncintiswano suphelile izithembiso zane bezikhona azigcwaliswa. Kumele ukuthi ube lama excuse nxa after uqeda ukuvotela usuzakhala uthi no kulama sanctions, kodwa ubukhankasa kulama sanctions. Uzakhala uthi izanu isingirobhile, kodwa ubukhankasa usazi ukuthi izanu iyakurobha. Thina ke sithi lingahlala ndawonye sibonisana ukuthi madoda asihlaleni phansi sihlele ukuthi sizwe ukuthi uZulu uthini, ufuna ukuthi simenzeleni, njalo singabi sisiya kuZulu siyesikhala sisithi sesirojiwe. Asihlaleni phansi sibonisane senze into eqondileyo lo Zulu asithembe. UZulu khathesi ukumbona eseze kwesinye isikhathi elingeka ukuthi avotele izanu. Usengathi kasakwazi kahle ukuthi kathi loba sikhala inyembezi eziyizo kumbe sikhala inyembezi zezikhova, uZulu kasakwazi khonokho.
Yes, cela ukufake khonokho ngesilungu baba wathi khuluma.
Yes, the problem is that our parties or our politics is guided by competition more than ideas and principles. The idea is to compete then as long as you are going to get some token or some incentive after competition, that's what you think about. That has been entrenched by ZANU, where you blindly go for competition. You are seen as the macho man, the one that has won, but you are offering nothing at the end of the day. All the promises that you made are not there. So for the opposition, we are saying, we as the Freedom Alliance, we are saying we must come together so that we build something that is sustainable. We are not going to be electioneering every time. We need to sit down, talk to each other without competition being before us. Then we are going to have sustained politics that is going to work for the masses. And it must be the masses that tell us or ask us to stand for them. But we are seeing a trend where politicians come and tell the masses to say, I'm representing you in what, 24 in Kai South, for example, or I'm your MP candidate. They don't even know, because I'm actually doing it for my gain. It's not going to work for the people. And we as the Freedom Alliance, we are saying we need to have dialogue, we need to converge. And when we say people have spoken, they should really have spoken, not what ZANU says. ZANU will actually steal the vote. They will say people have spoken. We will also say people have spoken. Are we really sent by the people? Sometimes, largely, the answer is no. We are sending ourselves, and we are saying that should end.
Maybe also, there's been some critics also of non-profit organizations like yourselves, that you are also benefiting from, some of the events that are happening. What's your view?
I do not know how the benefit is there. For us, we are a convergence of individuals, pressure groups, political parties are there, faith-based organizations, they are there. I do not see any gain, because we are not people that will be funded to say, let's give you money, then you are going to do this. We are not like what ZANU will do to hire youths that are not working to go around talking to people or campaigning. How does a person who is unemployed, having no job, but is the one who is promising people that we are creating jobs? So we are not there. Our only gain, if ever is going to come, will be our freedom, where we are dealing with the people in honesty, we are following, we are transparent, we are democratic as it were. We are not just talking democracy, but we actually practice it. If we talk about gender parity, you will see it in our structures that we will have women holding influential positions in as much as men are doing. We are not an organization of promises, but we are an organization of delivery. That's why we are saying, when you promise something, you must explain how you are going to do it, so that we can see that is this realistic or this is just for competitive purposes, as it were.
Aiwa, apo tanga tiri kunzwa kubva kuna vaNcube. Ndavabvunza ini ndikati, asika pane vamwewo vanoshora kuti masangano mamwe akazvimirirawo naivowo vari kudya vachiwanawo mari kubva kune zviri kuitika munyika. Vabva vataura ivo kuti aiwa, ivo sangano ravo isangano remubatanidzwa wevanhu vari kuzviitirawo basa rekuitira kuti vanyatsoona kuti zvii zviri kuitika. Saka hapana kwavari kuwanikwa ivo vachiwana mari yavangati ivo vangazonzi nevanhu vari kudya. Vari kuti kana vanhu vakatarisa sangano ravo rine, kana vachitaura nenyaya yekodzero dzemadzimai, rine madzimai akawanda ari vatingati mapositions epamusoro muorganization yavo, zvinoreva kuti ivo zvavanenge vachitaura ndo zvavari kuita. Saka vari kuti aiwa, hachisi chokwadi kuti vanganzi nevanhu aiwa vapindawo kuti vadyewo sezviri kuitwawo zviri kutaurwawo nevanhu kunze uko.
Yeah, Mr. Ncube, 10 seconds, your last word.
My last word is to say, in the opposition, let's be mindful of the promises that we make. Lest we fall prey to the schemes and the doings of ZANU-PF, where you'll be promising people for 40 years. You always make tricks to promise this today, tomorrow you promise that, the next thing you are crying saying that due to sanctions you cannot deliver. We need to be honest, transparent, democratic, and truthful to our suffering masses.
Your mic is off, Gibbs. Aiwa, tinokutendai vese vanga vakatiteerera muzuva ranhasi. Tawanikwa isu tine vanyarikani vakawanda ipo pano pachirongwa chedu. Tanga tiina vaNcube, tikanzwa zvakare kubva kune avo vachange vari kukukwidza vanobva kumabato akasiyana siyana. Tanzwa kubva kuZANU-PF, tikanzwa kubva kune vamwe vari kutsigirawo MDC Alliance, tikanzwawo kune veRepublican Party, veCCC nevamwewo vachivimbisa kuti vachange vari kuunza pundutso kana vachinge vawanikwa ivo vachipiwa mukana wokuti vapinde muparamende. Ini ndini Marvellous Nyahuye ndiri muWashington.